Hi everyone. There is something that I want to talk about coronavirus for a long time, but I was just like I feel I don't know exactly what to express about it. But I think I have something to say that I I am Chinese and I went back to China during this crisis time, during Chinese New Year, and I experienced the lockdown and I lived. I come back to Australia, I quarantine myself, and right now Australia is happening pretty much very like the cases are growing so quickly, and it's a lot of people are panicking. And I just want to clarify a few things with about my thoughts about the coronavirus. So number one myth out there is a lot of people say coronavirus is just like a flu. So there's nothing to worry about. What's the big deal? It's just the flu. And I I get really, I'm not saying upset about it, but I get really like it just get me very like angry about how not well educated a lot of general public are about the coronavirus. Yes, it has a lot of flu-like symptoms, and yet people are saying the flu killed how many hundreds of thousands of people, and why the coronavirus only killed 4,000 over 4,000 people so far, why everyone is so freaking out about it, why the media have give coronavirus so much attention about it. And fatality rate is not very high, it's only between 3%, 1 to 3%. So it's not scary, so it's no big deal. I I get really impacted by it because I was there. I was in China, and it if every Chinese, when they go back to China, if they are in China, then they will know how much the coronavirus was impacted their life. My hometown is actually from Hubei, the epic. It's right next to the epicenter, and luckily, none of my family, my close family, went back to Hubei to spend Chinese New Year. So myself and my parents were staying in Dongguan, which is one place near Hong Kong. We spent Chinese New Year there. From the second last day, like 2 days before Chinese New Year's Eve, and we get this news from everywhere, the rumor about everywhere that there's this virus spreading around. And so the government already started announcing there's no gathering for any, discourage any family gatherings. And we decided as a family that we cancel all the visit to each other. For Chinese, like Chinese New Year is like Christmas, and it's a tradition that in the past thousands of years that we all do this. We pay visit to the old generations, that we respect them, and we visit each other, and that's a tradition for thousands of years. But we stopped it because we know how serious it is. And then very soon after that, we hear Wuhan has been shutting down. And very soon after that, almost like every single day, there's updates about shutting down of cities in around Wuhan, those other cities in Hubei. And one of my hometown was impacted too. And even though that myself was not there, but there's families family were impacted. And I have my relatives family that there was one of the grandma passed away, and one of the cousin passed away because of the virus. And I have friends that live in Wuhan, and I am terribly worried about them. And there, I heard a lot of stories about that. I have a friend that her mom is a doctor, and she was infected, And I heard so many stories of people lost their moms, the dads, the daughter, the son, the sisters and brothers because of the virus. And why the virus is so dangerous, why it is so dangerous, because firstly, it spreads so fast. And even though when you do not show any symptoms, within that incubation period, if you are infected, you can spread disease to a lot of people. And imagine when someone is infected and they don't know where actually they were infected. They go around, do whatever they are doing, and they could impact hundreds of people without even knowing. And those people go back to their family, have dinner with people, and sitting together and living in the same space. The family get all infected, and that's how infection get multiplied and multiplied and multiplied. That's why when that happens, the stress it put on the health system is crazy. People want to go to hospitals, but they don't have any hospital have the resources to accept them. There's people in the corridor waiting for to be treated. There's some people that they were not infected, they try to get treatment, but when they go to the hospital, because there were so many infected people around, they got infected because of their visit to the hospital. That's the dangerous part about this whole coronavirus, because you don't know who has been in contact with this, and you don't know. Yes, 80% of people will recover, that's right, and 10% of people will go to ICU, and then 5% of people will suffer, and then 5% of people will die. It sounds pretty alright. Yeah, you will be just assumed that you will be that 80% recovery. But when you really put into perspective, if there's 3% death rate, if you work in an organization of 100 people, there's 3 people will be dead because of the coronavirus. Do you think it's still like a flu? It is really not just a flu. It's a very deadly virus. And what worries me more is in Australia, we have such a large population that people who are aged and they're very vulnerable. And a lot of people that they basically, if they're infected, they have very, very little chance of fighting it and getting it, like getting survival through it. So like you really can't, you can't just joking about it's just a flu. You can't, like, you have to take this matter seriously. So you have to take it seriously. But at the same time, you can't really be creating a panic mode as well. Like right now, what's happening in Australia is a toilet roll you can't buy a toilet roll anywhere. Like people fighting and take out knives, fight with each other because of toilet roll. Can you believe that? And you know, as all disease out of, like, if you look from a bigger perspective, as human beings, we always fight, we always get through whatever we are meant to get through. We will get through this. It is a crisis, it is a pandemic, but we are in it together. We are going to fight this together. So, you know, have some faith and have some compassion for people around you as well, and take it seriously. Don't take it like a joke, and you know, be respectful for people around you, because what if this is happening to you? What if this is happening to your family and your loved ones? And will you still be so disrespectful to others? Just really have some more compassion and, you know, have more humanity, please.